All right, now I'm about to do something on the show that I've never done before. I am going to buy a Magic Johnson autographed card. He's my all-time favorite player. He is basically unanimously a top 5 player in NBA history, a man who changed the game back in the early 1980s when he and Larry Bird came into the league in the same year after facing off in the 1979 NCAA championship game. Earvin Magic Johnson is an icon. He's also iconic in the pop culture world, the business world, and will have a legacy that lasts forever, basically. So I'm extremely excited to buy an Earvin Magic Johnson autograph card. This will be my second Earvin autograph. My dad actually got a Sports Illustrated cover signed in 1978 when my dad was at Michigan State with Earvin and had him sign it. And so I have that framed in my office. But this is going to be my first Magic autograph card that I'm about to buy. And I want to walk you through the thought process that I've had and give you some things to look out for when you're looking to buy vintage autograph cards. So, the first thing I did was I just searched on eBay Magic Johnson auto card, and you get, there's a lot, like Magic has signed a lot of autographs. So, from an investment standpoint, you have to be a little bit careful because there are just so many of them out there. And buying an autograph card is not unlike buying any other card in the regards that you want to try to get something that's desirable, that's lower pop count, and go through the multitude of factors. So, not unlike a Luka or a Zion or a LaMelo rookie card, where there's just so many different options to buy and different variations. What I found in doing my research on Magic autos is that there's tons of quote unquote variations. Like, he's been around for now signing autographs for 4 decades, and so he's signed a lot. He's signed a lot of cards. He signed a lot of stickers that have been put on cards. He has ultra modern cards like this one that I'm looking at right here. Prism 2020, 2021 sensational signatures, sticker auto. And what you find as you go through this is that the cards that will be surely more valuable 10 to 20 years from now are relatively similar in price to the ones that are likely not going to be that valuable 10 to 20 years from now. And so, like, for example, this Prism 2020, 2021 auto, you can buy it now for $150. You can probably get it a little bit lower than that with an offer. But as we go through this, you'll see that there are other better options, because this is a sticker auto. It's an ultra modern card. Like, there's nothing special about it other than the fact that it is Magic Johnson. There's nothing really desirable about it. I don't think this card is going to hold up value, but there are other Magic Johnson cards that will have value long term, and I'm going to kind of explain why and how I found them, and then I'm going to buy at least one of them in this segment on this show. So all of these lessons that I'm about to tell you, I'm into Earvin Magic Johnson, but your guy might be Jerry Rice, it might be Tom Brady, it might be Dan Marino, it might be Mario Lemieux, right? Like any legend from any sport that you want to try and do this with. I think that you'll find similar results, even though that person may or may not have as many autographs as Magic. So I'm going to kind of break this down into like 3 different levels of Magic Johnson cards and explain why I'm looking at what I'm looking at, and then why I'm buying what I'm buying on the show. So I think the first thing I'm looking at is an iconic card. I want an iconic card. And so it doesn't get any more iconic than the rookie card, the true rookie card that is 1980 Tops. And it's actually a rookie card of both Magic and Larry Bird. And in the middle is Dr. J. And this is how Tops made cards that year. And it happens to be actually Magic and Bird's rookie year. And so, I mean, this is like essentially like getting a Dwayne Wade and LeBron rookie back in the day, say with Jordan in the middle of it, and having them, all three of them, sign it. And the asking price is $20,000 for this card. My budget is nowhere near that. I'm going to do this on a $500 or less budget. So I am not buying a $20,000 card to flex. I'm buying a $500 or less card for my personal collection, and something that I do think will undoubtedly rise in value throughout the years, because I think it's an underrated buy, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But you can make an offer on this card. You know, it's probably not going to sell for $20,000, but there's no doubt that it's an outstanding card. I mean, another thing I want you guys to learn a lot from this video, and one thing that I want you to learn is that as we go through this, you're only going to want to buy a vintage autograph if it has been authenticated by either PSA or BGS. There are some other companies that authenticate autograph cards, but those are the two best autograph authenticators in terms of these vintage cards. No disrespect to SGC, they do it as well, but I just think BGS and PSA on the secondary market, their slabs make a lot more sense for these cards. So as you can see here in the PSA label, the card itself is actually graded. So there's a difference between a PSA DNA certified auto grade and a card grade that also has an auto grade. And one of the ways you can differentiate is on the label. You can see that this is an excellent mint 6 grade. And the auto grade is 10. You very rarely will find an auto grade less than 10, and if you do, I would just rule that card out. So this is all about kind of ruling out which cards we want to buy. And I'm gonna, even though this is the most desirable card, I mean, I'm gonna rule out buying it because I just don't have the money for it. And then we're gonna kind of work towards a similar card that is available for a lot less money. So again, 1980 rookie card, Magic and Bird, Dr. J in the middle. All three have signed it. PSA has verified that all three have signed it, and they have slabbed it with an auto grade of 10 and a card grade of 6. So now you'll see other sort of variations of this card. Like this is another card that all three of them have signed, and the autograph has been graded a 10, but the card itself has not been graded. And you can see that if the card was graded, you can zoom in and see like the surface of this card, the corners and the centering of this card are not very good. Like they're not very solid. This is kind of a close-up view of the back of the card here. The surface of the back, look at the corners. You can just kind of see it probably wouldn't get much better of a grade than 6. The interesting play, though, is that you could buy it for a quarter of the price, or a quarter of the asking price, and you could have this card graded. So you could send this into PSA, and for $100, I believe for about $100, they would regrade the card and they would grade the card and regrade the auto. So the autos should all get a 10 still, and then you'd have a grade on the card, and then you'd have a product that looks maybe a lot more like this in terms of the ability to be able to sell it. And if you compare it to the 6, it looks like this card would probably at least get a 6. So if you're out there and you're like, you see this card on eBay and you're like, wanting to make a play, that could actually be a play. Buy this card and then have PSA actually grade the card and regrade the auto. Now here is a version of this same card that actually has a PSA 7 grade, which is really solid, but it's only been signed by Larry Bird. So that's why it's available for significantly less. Now, what's interesting about this is that you could go on eBay and you could see like, well, what what does this card sell normally for in PSA 7? So something we could actually do that really quick right now. You can see the listings for that card right here are no cheaper than 2,500 or best offer. Many of them want more than that, and so that definitely makes it a very desirable card. And if we go to the sold listings of that card recently, we can see that it sells for, in PSA 7, consistently between $1,600 and $2,100 several times in the last few weeks. So if you were wanting to buy that card but also have Larry Bird's signature on it, you'd actually be getting a pretty good deal, because I would think the Bird signature actually would make it worth more. So I think that this is actually a very fairly priced card by the Four Sharp Corners company that's consigning this card. And so I actually look at this card and kind of think about, well, my budget's only $500, but you know, for a PSA 7 of this iconic card and also an authentic Larry Bird auto on it, it's interesting. Now, if it were Magic's auto, I'd probably really be struggling with thinking about spending the money. But I don't want a Bird auto. Like, that's not why I came here. I don't want to get distracted, so I'm going to rule out that card. Now, what's interesting is this is a cool card because it's a Magic Johnson rookie card, right? And it's the same year. You can see the same design, and it's authentic Magic Johnson autograph, and it's a PSA 9, which so a PSA 9 from 1980, like that's a big deal, right? So I don't want to rule out this card. I've been watching it for a while actually, and the price is actually pretty right. I wouldn't really care that much if I go over my $500 budget by less than $150. That's in the long-term scheme of things for me is not that big of a deal. It's just that Ron Boone is a nobody, and John Long, while he did have a great NBA career, and I actually do know John Long personally, which kind of makes this cool card for me. They're just not iconic figures, and so it does devalue the Irvin piece of this card. And so as a collector, I'm very, very interested in this card. As an investor, though, it's not something that I don't think would have much value on the secondary market. It's all about finding the right buyer anyway, but if we were to go to, over the budget, I'd consider that card, but I'm just not sure I could pull trigger. And there's no make an offer. If there was a make an offer and I could get this card for under $500, I'd probably do it. But I wouldn't be as excited about the card just because it's got John Long and Ron Boone. So I'm going to rule that out. You got to stay disciplined here. Another one that's really cool is you can see here again, this is an auto 10, but the card has also been graded and it's an 8, which is a phenomenal grade for a 1980 Tops card. So Magic signed it. Julius Irving, it's that Julius Irving variation, but it has Jan van Bredekoff. So the Jan van Bredekoff variation of this card obviously makes it less desirable. It brings the price down quite a bit. I think this is a fairly priced card based on the comps that I've looked at. Four Sharp Corners seems to be pretty reputable in terms of how they price their cards. They're not looking to rip anybody off, and they're not always looking for the highest amount. So and they're not too low either, obviously, because they're smart. Interesting that the shipping on this is $50. You got to look out for that a little bit. But I would say this is in the wheelhouse of an iconic card that I would want to get. Again, we talked earlier about like wanting to avoid the ultra modern Earvin Magic autographs, just because you'll see here in a minute that you can get these iconic cards, vintage cards, for similar money. I'm gonna pass on it just because of the Jan van Bredekoff piece, and because even though it is graded, even though the card is graded, which makes it desirable, in theory, like I could get any of these cards graded, and so I'm just gonna pick up. I don't love the card because of Jan Ben Bredikov, and as good as Dr. J is, like I'm not a huge Dr. J fan, so $1,000 I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna go to a non-graded version of this card. So like here's a good example, right? Like I like that we had this back to back. So we have the graded version and then the non-graded version, and you can see that the non-graded version is half the price. The same autograph situation, same card situation, and you could easily buy this card and then submit this card to PSA for card grading and auto grading, and I think you could get that done for around $100, and then all of a sudden you've, according to this asking price, you've now doubled the value of your card. So that's another play, right? Like I'm not necessarily going to make that play because I don't love this card, but that's another play for you to consider. Here is a authentic signed version of a card, though, that's a reprint of the iconic card that I showed you that was going for in PSA 6 for $20,000 and for basically $6,000 without the grade. But this card is a reprint, but PSA wouldn't have just graded the card. That's why they clearly put reprint card here. But the autographs are real on the reprint card. So this was actually signed by Larry, Dr. J, and Magic on a card that's a reprint. $995. You know, this is something I could make an offer on, say for like $700, and feel like that's an interesting thing. I just think that the reprint card is not something that people are always going to be excited about paying money for. So I'm going to pass. I'm going to rule that out. Now here's 1980 Tops PSA 8 Auto 10. So again, good that it is a PSA 8 Auto 10, but you know this one was $1,000, and the only difference, you know, there's no difference. So this one, you know, this seller wants 3 times the amount for the same card. So you really just have to do your due diligence, because again, like this card is the same card and you can get it for 1/3 of the price. And this is the exact same card for 3 times the price. So you just have to be careful. Another iconic card that I really am considering buying in this segment is the 1986 Flear. So we just went through the 1980 Tops. Now we're going to go to the 1986 Flear. There's a couple of these that I've found for sale. This one for $700. It's an old PSA slab, auto grade only. When you look, but so now I haven't found any of these that are card grade and auto grade for sale. I found these 2 that I'm showing you that are auto grade only. And in this case, if you're gonna look at which one of these 2 to buy, and they're within $100 of each other, and mind you, they're each $200 to $300 over my budget. I am looking at the actual autograph itself and aesthetically determining which one do I like better with the eyeball test. This one is in thicker Sharpie, which is, I think, more desirable to many collectors. And then this one is in it's still Sharpie, but it's like a thinner Sharpie. But it has a newer PSA slab, slightly newer PSA slab than the one in thicker Sharpie. I'm not gonna let $99 influence my decision too much. It could be a tiebreaker. What's interesting about this one is the card's just not in good shape. I mean, it really looks like a PSA 4 or 5. Like, I mean, some of these corners are really beat up. So the $700 one is really, the card itself is not in great shape. Now the card itself on the $800 one is in much better shape, and it's in a newer slab. The autograph's not as desirable. I do think this could be an interesting play. The centering's not great though, so I'm not convinced that is a phenomenal buy. So I'm just going to kind of move on. I'm going to move on to the same year, but the sticker, and I'm going to point out a few different things. So this is a 1986, same set, but the sticker from that set, which is definitely harder to grade because it's flimsier. And so this is a PSA 8 with an auto 10 in a really cool looking silver Sharpie. And it's going for, buy it now, no offer, $451.99. Now, here's one for $349. Buy it now. These are the same year, 1986 Flear, which is an iconic set. The variation, though, is that it's the sticker. I don't know much about the pop counts of either of these, but my guess is that they're very high, and that the sticker might be a little bit less than the card. You can see that this one does not have a grade, and you can see that it's very much off-center. Like, it's in good condition, but it's very much off-center. And you can go through the photographs, and you can see that, you know, what the back of it looks like, the corners, the surface. It's all pretty solid photos to go through. So we're getting closer to what I want to do here, because we're in my price range, and we've still got a very iconic, iconic card, on-card auto, and good-looking signature. These are the kinds of things that I'm looking for in a card in good condition, and obviously authenticated by PSA or BGS. Here's another version of the same card. I like the signature slightly more. I think that the card is in similar condition. Actually, the corners don't look as good as the other one, and they want more money for it. Here's a fourth version of the same card. Again, only that first one had a card grade. The rest of them only have auto grades. And this one looks like it's in great condition card-wise, great signature, but they want $500 for it, which is more than the one that had the card grade. So you kind of gotta ask yourself, like, all right, of the three that I've shown you without the card grade, would any of them get an 8? And it's very hard to get an 8. So I don't think they would. And then you got this one that like already has an 8 and is basically the same price, maybe $50 to $100 more. But if you're gonna pay $100 or more to get the card graded and have the auto regraded, that's a wash. So my point is, rather than have to get the card graded or have to try to look at the condition of the card within the slab and sort of grade it with the eyeball, it doesn't make sense to spend $350, $400, or especially $500 for a card that's not graded when you can buy the one that's already a PSA 8, which is an extremely high grade, and an auto 10 for $451. So I'm really thinking that I'm going to go with this card. Just going to kind of flush out the rest of this segment. But as of right now, this is my card. And here's another reason why. Because you look at the card itself in PSA 8 just sold for $200 basically earlier today. So same day I'm filming the show, the card in PSA 8 sold for $200. So you got to ask yourself, like, is Irvin's signature on it worth $250? And to me, the answer is yes, especially because you'd pay money to ship it to PSA and have them certify that the auto is real. So, and then like actually getting his signature on this card in a condition that's a PSA 8 is probably impossible now, right? Because like finding a raw PSA 8 that he could sign without knowing it's a PSA 8, and then actually having him sign it and having him and then having PSA authenticate that and grade it as an 8 is worth $250. Like it would cost way more in money and time to do that. And so I'm really leaning at buying the 1986 Flear sticker in PSA 8. And I just want to go through a few more before I make the purchase on the segment. But that $199 sale actually was up from some sales in December. And so I found a few cards that I really, really like that I'd never really seen before. So Star 1983. This is an auto grade only PSA old slab, $600. It's over my budget, so I'm not going to do it. This one's really, really sweet. It's a 1987 Flear. PSA 9, which is super hard to come by in the first place, and then it's an auto 10 with a really, really cool silver auto. So if I were unlimited budget, no budget, like I might buy this one, but $2,500 just out of my price range. Here's that same card with a cool signature for $388 in a Beckett slab. All things considered, I just think that the 86 sticker for $70 more in PSA 8 is just a better deal than that. This is an example of an on-card auto, again, of an ultra-modern card. I just wanted to show you that, again, like, why would you pay $200 for this Panini Revolution from 2021 with a sticker auto? Like, why would you do that when you can just simply spend a couple $100 more, which is not going to break anyone's bank, for an iconic 1986 Flear sticker on-card auto, basically. Now, this is the iconic 1981 Tops rookie card, actually just with the perforation broken, right? So it's just Magic and his signature on that, and it's authenticated by Beckett. So that's really cool. That was in the running for me. $469 for the 1980 Tops. It's not the full card though, so it's always going to get overlooked for the full card. I think these are cool. I'm a big Michigan State fan. That's part of the reason why Magic is so important to me. This is a auto grade 9 on a Michigan State card, and the back of it is just this Spartan insignia. So I'm not really sure what the allure is for me on this card, other than the fact that I really, really like the photo. I just don't know if it's gonna, like, what kind of card it is. So I'm gonna pass on that. Now this one actually is a Gem Mint 10 auto from the same era, and it's $250. But I think it seems like it was made by Tops. Yeah, so Tops chewing gum. So this could be a diamond in the rough right here. I kind of like this, and you can make an offer for it. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that front and center for something that I might do. This is another interesting one. This one, the card's signed. It was made by Tops. So if you look at the back of it, Tops chewing gum. So $250. But again, these are just the auto grades, and the cards have no grade. A couple other cards that I really like when I was a kid: the 1989 Hoop set, the All-Star card, $200. You can make an offer. But again, these are $200 on each of these cards that could be going towards the more iconic card in the PSA 8. Here's another one, cool purple Sharpie. Whatever PR or marketing person had the idea to have Magic sign these cards with a purple Sharpie was a genius, because the autograph on card actually perfectly matches the purple Lakers colors on these Hoops cards. So this is a 1990 Hoops base card with the most valuable player logo. I think this is, I could call this an iconic card, at least personally to me. And $150 is compared to what you might pay for pay $150 for nowadays in the ultra modern world. I like this Magic Johnson $150 card, the Beckett slab. And then there's some Tops. These are actually really legit 1981. So his second year Tops card, the Super Action for $350, or you can make an offer. But just look how off-center it is. These are in the running for me. I'm just not going to pull trigger because look at how off-centered it is. It's a Beckett 10 auto, iconic card, but just the card grade itself is questionable to me. $350 is considerable amount of money. And then the actual base card from that year, cool slab, Beckett witnessed auto. We know it's real, but just it's horribly cut by the print shop at Tops that year. Unfortunately, horribly cut. Card would not grade that high. And to spend $500 on that just seems a little high to me. So on the Earvin Magic Johnson auto card front, I hope this has helped you. I hope this process has helped you narrow down how you might purchase an autograph of an icon for your collection. And there's one more point I wanted to make because I pointed out earlier that like this is the card that I was going to buy, this 1986 Flear sticker. And you might be asking yourself, so here's one that is only $250. Here's one that is $500. Here's one that is $400. And then here's one that's $349. And then here's the one that I want to buy, which is $451, but it's the PSA 8. Why would I not buy the $250 one? Well, if you notice, you got to read the slabs, okay? So notice the slabs. PSA's slab right here, first thing that tipped me off to this is it says sticker. But this one says trading card. And what they mean by that is they mean that the trading card was signed on the one that says trading card. And if it says sticker on the slab, it means that a sticker was signed and put on the trading card. And so remember, only ultra modern cards really have stickers put on the cards by the trading card company. So we're looking at a 1986 card that happens to be a sticker, but don't get it confused. Basically what someone did here is they took a sticker signed by Magic and they put it on this card, which also happens to be a sticker. They submitted that to PSA. PSA then slabbed it, but wisely put sticker on it, letting you know that it's the sticker that's signed and not the card. So this is inherently far less valuable than the on-card autos. And so that's why if you go to buy one of these that might be still available after I buy the one that I want, I would recommend spending $399 for the on-card autograph of the sticker versus the sticker on sticker. Pay the extra less than $200 to get the on-card auto, right? Because in 10 to 20 years from now, people are going to be, far less than 10 to 20 years from now. I would say 10 to 20 months from now, people are going to be really examining on-card auto versus sticker auto and the value associated with them. So, all right. 33 minutes later, throughout all of my research, we're going to go ahead and we're going to treat ourselves to the Earvin Magic Johnson on sticker auto PSA 8 auto 10 for what I say only $451.99. This will be the most I've ever spent on any one particular sports card. But I think it's an iconic one for my collection. And I think in the long term, I'll be very, very happy to be touting this. All right. My order is in. I should get it in 1 week from today. The total, only $4 shipping. So $455.99. Really excited about this purchase. And it's going to my PWCC vault. So really excited to add an Earvin Magic Johnson autographed Flear sticker from 1986, the iconic set. I think that this is probably one of the ways that I'll be spending a lot of my money in the coming years. I think I'm going to be far more selective about what I spend my money on and do this kind of deep due diligence on every single card. And I hope that this has helped you out in your search of legend vintage autos. All right, that's a wrap for the Sports Card Strategy Show. We're starting off the year with a bang. Coming up in the next couple episodes, we will have some co-hosts to help me break things down. And I'd like to say a special thank you to the sponsor of today's show, MarketMoversApp.com by Sports Card Investor, the #1 place to track the data of your entire collection and your investments. Learn who to buy low and when to sell them high. Save 20% at MarketMoversApp.com by using the promo code NOOFFSEASON, all lowercase. And when you combine that with our sports card investment report at NOOFFSEASON.com/invest, you have the best toolkit to make money on your sports card investments. I'm Paul Hickey with NOOFFSEASON.com. Thanks for listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show, everybody. Have a great day.